Welcome to the Broadway.com show, filmed right here in the heart of Times Square. I'm Paul Wontorek.
And I'm Imogen Lloyd-Webber. This week we hit the red carpet with the original cast of Thoroughly Modern Millie as they reunite for a benefit concert, chat with Casey Levy, Patty Murin and the stars of Frozen, and more.
And later, we sit down with Arielle Jacobs, who is gearing up for her Broadway bow as Princess Jasmine in Disney's Aladdin. But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Imogen?
Broadway, here she comes. Catherine McPhee will finally make her Great White Way debut, but as the lead-in waitress, not bombshell, or indeed hit list. The Smash and American Idol alum will begin performances in the hit musical on April the 10th for a limited engagement through June the 17th. Sara Bareilles, the show's Tony-nominated composer and current star, is scheduled to play her final performance on March the 11th as she has a date with John Legend to get to. Plus, American Idol winner David Cook will take on his first Great White Way role as Charlie Price in the Tony-winning musical Kinky Boots. Cook will play a limited engagement in the show from April the 3rd through May the 5th. He takes over for Jake Shears, who will play his final performance as planned on April the 1st. In addition, Wayne Brady will return to Lola's Heels in Kinky Boots at the Al Hirschfeld Theatre beginning on March the 5th for a run through April the 26th. Everybody say yeah.
Wait, did you say Sara Bareilles has a date with John Legend somewhere in all of that casting news?
Yes, for Jesus Christ Superstar on Easter Sunday.
Oh, hallelujah, I was worried about Chrissy Teigen. Remember The Sting, the 1973 caper film starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford as two con men? Well, there's an upcoming musical adaptation of the movie, and Broadway vet Harry Connick Jr. will take on Newman's role of Henry Gandorf, a big-time hustler who plots to bring down a corrupt racketeer in 1936 Chicago. The Sting will feature a book by Bob Martin and music and lyrics by Urinetown Tony winners Mark Holman and Greg Kotis. As in the film, the score will also include music by Scott Joplin, including the famous composition The Entertainer. John Rando will direct with choreography by Warren Carlyle. The Broadway-aimed show will begin performances at Paper Mill Playhouse on March 29th.
Wasn't Harry Connick Jr. an American Idol judge?
Yes, there's a lot of idols coming to Broadway. And by the way, I had no idea you were a fan.
The biggest fan. We're Type A personalities here on Broadway. Our heads are already in the 2018 to 2019 season. The first ever Great White Way revival of 1991's A Secret Garden is slated to land during it, directed and choreographed by Warren Carlyle. With book and lyrics by Marcia Norman and music by Lucy Simon, the show is based on the classic 1911 novel of the same name by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Casting venue and dates will be announced later. Meanwhile, lauded London hit The Ferryman, Jez Butterworth's latest play, will transfer to the Main Stem's Burnaby Jacobs Theatre in October. Directed by Sam Mendes, the production, which takes place in the early 1980s in Northern Ireland, debuted at the Royal Court and is currently playing at the West End's Gilgood Theatre. Much to look forward to.
Put on your Sunday clothes again. Tony Award-winning Broadway legend Betty Buckley will star in the first national tour of Hello, Dolly, the Tony-winning Best Musical Revival, which will launch on October 2nd at the Connor Palace at Cleveland's Playhouse Square. Of course, Bette Midler won the Tony for her performance as Dolly Levi in this resplendent revival on Broadway. Donna Murphy served as her incredible alternate, and two-time Tony winner Bernadette Peters is currently playing the delightful, meddling matchmaker on The Great White Way. We can't wait to see Buckley's take on the role. Full tour dates and cities, as well as additional casting for the tour, will be announced in the coming weeks.
Breathe, everyone. In the Heights is heading to DC with Vanessa Hudgens as Vanessa, Anna Villafania as Nina, Eden Espinosa as Daniela, and Joshua Grosso in the leading role of Usnavi. Stephanie Clemens, an original cast member of Lin-Manuel Miranda's 2008 Tony-winning musical, is set to direct and choreograph the production. Other Broadway cast members tapped for the revival include Rick Negron, Blanca Camacho, and Eliseo Roman. Following a community of friends and family in Washington Heights, the show is scheduled to run from March 21st through March 25th at the Kennedy Center's Eisenhower Theatre.
I hope this comes back to Broadway.
They'd have to add an American Idol star.
True. Grand Hotel is coming back to the New York stage, as it should be. Two-time Tony nominee Brandon Uranowitz, stage veterans Stephanie Stiles, James Snyder, Natasha Diaz, and John Dossett, as well as Irina Divo-Ravenko, a former principal ballet dancer with the American Ballet Theatre, are among the stars set to lead the upcoming Encore's presentation of the 1989 musical. The story centers on the fateful encounters of an eccentric cast of characters as they whirl through the opulent revolving doors of, you guessed it, the Grand Hotel. Josh Rhodes will direct and choreograph the revival, which is slated to run from March 21st through the 25th at New York City Center.
When we come back, we capture the sexy ensemble of Broadway's Chicago, go behind the lens with Escape to Margaritaville stars Paul Alexander Nolan and Alison Luff, and more.
This week on Broadway.com, vlogger Ali Ewald shows us the makeup magic of the Phantom of the Opera. We kick off our spring preview series with Frozen's Casey Levy and Patty Murin, and more.
The New York Times raves it's brilliant. 4 stars. An absolute delight. Critics agree it's the surprise hit of the season. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical.
Hi, I'm Orfeh.
And I'm Eric Anderson.
And you're watching the Broadway.com
Broadway.com
show.
show.
Woo!
Welcome back. The cast of Thoroughly Modern Millie reunited this week for a one-night-only concert performance of the Tony-winning musical. Original cast members Sutton Foster, Gavin Creel, Harriet Harris, Mark Kudish, and more participated in this incredible Actors Fund benefit. We hit the red carpet to chat with the performers about revisiting Millie.
I'll find myself another beau who I know is no rover. Forget about the boy. Forget about the boy. Forget about the boy. Forget about the boy.
Last time I said a lot of these words it was 15 years ago, so I kind of felt like out of body. We've been rehearsing for a week, so it's been like a time warp all week. I kind of felt like I was floating above myself going, hey, wow, this is so cool.
This is like the high school reunion you want to go back for, you know, and to see all of these people and to genuinely love them. And for me, this is my Broadway debut.
It's so much fun to have as much joy on stage and as much joy in the audience and have it reflected back to us. It was really special.
First of all, the energy was insane, and as each original cast member came through the door, and everyone was screaming and hugging, and my cheeks hurt at the end of the day because I was smiling so much.
Riding the wave of the audience behind every move that they made up there.
And this was one of those nights where they get everything, and you think, all right, I'm living the dream. So it was very powerful. I loved it.
We knew that Forget About the Boy was going to be a special thing, and when it stopped the show, we had to hold forever and ever. I just kept thinking to myself, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall.
It's amazing that we got to do it, and it's amazing that they got all of us. I wouldn't have missed it for anything, not anything.
I loved being back on Broadway, if it was only for one night. It was one fabulous night.
Thoroughly Modern Millie took home the Best Musical Tony back in 2002. The original cast shared what it is that makes Millie such an everlasting fan favorite.
It was nice to know that it was a celebration and that people were so excited, and so many young people have told me that Millie was their first show and it was the reason they got into musical theater. It's like why they moved to New York. And I was with the show originally for 2 years, so I saw that slow burn happen. I felt it. And when more and more people just were discovering the show and loved it, and it was a huge show for all of us and a huge show for a lot of people. So it was cool.
People have an ownership to the show now. Like the show is its own star. Charlie Stemp, who's playing Barnaby Tucker right now, he said, I used to like play you and try to sound like you on the CD, and I'm like, that's surreal to me. And it's also surreal because I'm 20 years older than he is. But hey, okay.
To know that people have this show as much in their hearts as I do, I think was really heartwarming, especially in the times we're living in now. For people to have that kind of affection for these Chinese immigrants, for this story of people reinventing themselves, I'm overwhelmed.
Of all the shows that I've done, I think Millie is the one that's the deepest in the canon. I didn't even know how much. It's great that there's that generation, and even now the millennial generation is so deeply connected to this show. And what does it feel like? It's wonderful. It's why we do it. You know, it's about them carrying it on. So I'm very proud of it. We all are.
New musical Frozen is gearing up to bow on the Great White Way this month, so we had to catch up with stars Casey Levy, Patty Murin and more to find out how this tale of two sisters pulled apart by a mysterious secret will translate from blockbuster animated movie to the Broadway stage.
The show itself, you know, has everything that we know and love from the movie, but we've been given this great opportunity to kind of like deepen the motifs and themes, as well as expand the score.
To be able to revisit it with a story that we know
worked and resonated, and to get to deepen the themes that we found was really a gift.
And there's like 3 times as much music, which is so exciting, like so exciting. So from the very first moment, people are going to be like, oh, this is different.
A lot of what we learn of Elsa in the film happens in close-up and in silence. And with the Broadway musical, we have the opportunity to musicalize those moments and let the audience really understand why Elsa is doing what she's doing.
If you feel like you knew Anna before, you don't know what Patty Murin's about to give you. If you think you knew Let It Go, you're going to be gobsmacked by the end of Casey Levy singing that song.
You should see it on Broadway because we have taken something that is very familiar to the whole entire world and we've looked at it in a new way. Our job is to make it fresh.
You were touched by the movie, but this really packs a punch.
Levy and Murin note that bonding off-stage to play on-stage sisters was easy for the Broadway vets.
She's the best. Everything that you see with us is completely genuine. Like, we live a half a block away from each other. We are on the same sort of stage of life. We're both adult women, and we've both been in this business for a while, and so I like to think that that really kind of gives us a great perspective on this, especially doing something like Frozen.
I love Patty. We're really great girlfriends. We hit it off right away, and it's so nice to have someone on stage and off throughout this crazy whirlwind of opening this Broadway show that I love so genuinely, that we can just sort of look across the room at each other and be like, how you doing? You good? You good? Like, we check in with each other. We have each other's back.
I made her watch The Bachelor for the first time. She did not like it. She was like, I just don't understand. I was like, you just got... Next season, we'll watch The Bachelorette.
I don't understand her obsession with it, but I am her sister, and so I did indulge her need to watch that show last night, and I think it was the last time I'm going to watch it.
Featuring both original songs and your most loved Jimmy Buffett classics, Escape to Margaritaville tells the story of part-time bartender, part-time singer, and full-time charmer named Tully, who thinks he's got life all figured out. That is, until a beautiful tourist steals his heart. Paul Alexander Nolan and Allison Luff play these 2 characters in the new musical. We got to know the pair at a glam photo shoot at the Vinyl in New York.
It's a super fun show and it's a blast to do. We both have done some heavier roles in the past, but this is, as soon as you walk in the theater, if you're having a bad day and you start your show, you just feel better, not because you had to cry on stage and let it all out. You just have a great time.
I feel like I'm stealing money doing this show because I'm like, isn't it supposed to be hard? Isn't art supposed to be difficult? And it, you know, in this go around, no. It's not. I get to enjoy myself and sing well and play well and fall in love with her, and it's pretty great.
There is an underlining story that is, and an underlining theme that is relevant to all of our characters, and that's not changing who you are for someone else, but being yourself, being the authentic version of yourself, and watching what can come out of that, and the beauty that can come out of that, and relationships you can build out of that, whether they are polar opposite. And I think that that's a story that we could all use.
And Jimmy's music is like surprisingly deep.
Yeah.
It's like, it's this package of music that feels on first listen to be, you know, whimsical and fun. There's more philosophical things going on in those lyrics than you ever expect. Jimmy wants the music to be blaring as the audience is coming in, and so we're doing that, and he doesn't want the ushers making people shut up from singing. You know, this is the show. If you want to sing Out Louise, you can sing Out Louise, and you're not to be shushed. You're to be encouraged. True. And in fact, you might even remind me what the real lyrics are to one of these songs. I actually, in La Jolla, I blanked on the lyrics to the song Margaritaville. Luckily, it was a point in the show where I was driving the engine playing, and I just stopped and I said, what is it? And the audience fed me the lyrics. I said, great. And I just kept doing. What show can you do that in?
For a lucky 21 years, the Tony-winning revival of Chicago has been bringing razzle-dazzle to the Great White Way. It's got everything for a perfect night out on Broadway. A scandalous story, Kander and Ebb's jazzy score, and of course, a super sexy company of first-rate dancers executing that iconic Bob Fosse choreography. Chicago's performers got glammed up and showed us what they've got in an exclusive Broadway.com photo shoot with photographer Matthew Murphy. Take a look.
When we return, Arielle Jacobs tells us all about heading to Aladdin on the Great White Way.
The New York Times raves it's brilliant. 4 stars. An absolute delight. Critics agree it's the surprise hit of the season. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical.
Arielle Jacobs will step into a whole new world on February 20th when she takes over the role of Jasmine in the Disney hit musical Aladdin on Broadway. I sat down with the star to talk about her family connection to the show and what it's like to get to play a Disney princess. Arielle Jacobs.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Taking a break from rehearsal.
Yes.
For Aladdin. You're going to step back into the harem pants. Is that what they're called, harem pants?
Yeah, they
Jasmine.
are harem pants. Yeah, and the big hair. Big hair with the harem pants.
Are you excited to play this part on Broadway?
Yes. I can't believe it. It's happening.
Do you feel like it's all coming back very quickly now that you're in rehearsal?
Yes. So when I started rehearsal, I wasn't sure, but I remember most of the choreography. There's like slight changes. Yeah, it's been fun singing with Telly
Leung.
Mm-hmm.
So you have done this part in Australia. Tell me what it was like to get the call that you were going to go and be Jasmine in Australia.
Oh, that was really exciting because I love the show and I love Australia and I always wanted to go to Australia. And I had to keep it a secret for so long.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, just because Adam and I wanted to plan this reveal video for my parents.
We have to explain. So your brother's Adam Jacobs. I think everyone knows that who's watching this, but brother's Adam Jacobs, the original star of Aladdin on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
When you were going in for Aladdin, did you get pointers from your brother?
Not really. I mean, I'd seen him do it so many times, and I think we talked about the marketplace scene, like when Aladdin and Jasmine first meet, and then that was it. And then he's like, have fun.
No intel?
No, not really.
So you are taking over this role from Courtney Reed, who did it with your brother and did it for a long time on Broadway. I know you're not related at all, but I feel like you're extended family in a way.
Me and Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been in each other's lives for so long, especially because we did In the Heights too, and so we know each other from that world. And now And we're doing the Broadway princess parties together. She's always been Jasmine, and I started as Pocahontas, and then I was Moana, and last night I got to be Jasmine for the first time. I premiered my Singing Palace Walls for the first time in New York City at 54 Below.
How did it go?
It was great. It was fun.
So did Courtney give you any kind of pep talk or advice or anything in going into the Broadway company?
No, but she said, I think she said she left me something in the dressing room, and I don't know what it is yet, so I'm excited.
You haven't gone in yet to the
No.
dressing room. And she had a very princessy, adorable, fully done dressing room.
Yeah.
So are you going to change that around?
I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I really love the Moroccan style and the whole Aladdin world. We'll see how it goes.
So tell me about your history with Aladdin before you were in it in Australia. You did it as a child?
Oh, well, I sang A Whole New World at my 4th grade talent show.
As Aladdin or as Princess Jasmine?
As Aladdin. As Aladdin. And my mom just told me today that I also was Aladdin for Halloween that year.
You were in training really early.
Apparently. Yeah. I think my parents had just come back from a vacation in Turkey, so they brought me the harem pants and like the traditional, the hat. And it wasn't Aladdin's costume, but it felt like a purple satin version of Aladdin's costume.
So how many times have your parents seen Aladdin between you and Adam?
I have no idea. I think in Australia they came for a week, and I think they saw it 5 times.
Wow,
maybe
in 1 week? Wow.
Maybe 4. It was a lot.
And of course they saw your brother open on Broadway.
Yeah, at Broadway, but like Broadway, and they've brought so many friends.
They're like Broadway ambassadors.
Yeah, my parents are. They're like, come see our kids. They're starring on Broadway.
But how wonderful that you and your brother are so successful and got to be on Broadway at the same time when you were in Wicked.
That was the best.
You were Nessa Rose
I
and
was
he was
Nessa.
Aladdin.
He was Aladdin, and we got together for dinner in between shows on 2 show days, and that was the best time.
Were you guys ever competitive?
Not really. I mean, we can't go in for the same parts.
Well, you were Aladdin in 4th grade.
That's true. I can be Aladdin.
So
Yeah.
how does it feel for you to sing these songs again, and especially to do the magic carpet ride, which is the most magical thing ever?
That is my favorite part of the whole show.
Is it really?
Yeah.
When you were growing up, did you watch Disney movies? Did you have a favorite Disney princess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I loved Disney movies. I think I watched Cinderella over and over and over again. And then my favorite after that was Pocahontas, because Adam and I got to play Native Americans when that was my first show
when you were
ever.
really little, right?
Uh-huh. In California. We have
I
a
know what
picture
this
of
is. You were Blue Swan.
Yes!
Let's explain why you were Blue Swan.
Okay, so I got to pick my own character name because it was a brand new show. So they're like, pick your favorite color and an animal. And I think I said like purple flamingo or something crazy. They were like,
pick another one.
Else. So I said Blue Swan, and they were like, that'll do.
How has playing a Disney princess changed your behavior off stage?
I don't know that I've necessarily felt more princessy, but it's made me look at what a princess is, what I think it means to be a princess in everyday life. I think what all the Disney princesses have in common is their strength, their kindness, and their confidence, and their compassion.
They're role models.
They are, and because they're so strong, but they're strong and they're soft. And they're kind, and they're compassionate. And I think a lot of times we think we have to be this strong person in everyday life, and that strength can mean hardness, which is distancing between people, and that's not what we're striving for, I don't think. So I think it's a balance, and as a woman, like how to juggle those two things in a society where we often feel like we have to be hard in order to be taken seriously is something that I think it's great to show that that's not the only option.
And you're in such good company with the Disney princesses on Broadway right now.
I know.
Because you have your Lion King people, your Frozen people are coming in. Isn't that wonderful to be part of that family?
Yes, it really is. I'm really excited to see Frozen. Patty Murin and I did High School Musical together in the original production in Atlanta. So I'm obsessed with her, and I can't wait to see her as Princess Anna. And Jelani was in High School Musical too. All 3 of us.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. It's amazing. The Disney family is a tight-knit group. All right, we have to go, but before we do, we have to talk about your album, A Leap in the Dark, which is coming out just in a couple of months, right?
Yes, it is.
So this is based on the show you did at 54 Below?
It is the show I did at 54 Below.
Tell me, first of all, what music is on there and how people can get their hands on it.
So the show I did at 54 Below was not just a cabaret concert. It was more of a one-woman show. So it's a story of my life and told through songs and monologues. Very storytelling driven show. And I sing songs from Disney shows and songs that you love, and from
A Little
musicals.
Wicked, A Little in the Heights.
A Little Wicked, A Little in the Heights, A Little Aladdin, and then some songs from other shows like Waitress and Anastasia, and some pop songs too. And it's kind of a little bit of everything that I love, but each song is told in my own way to really tell the story of what's happening in that moment of my life. It's called A Leap in the Dark, and it's about taking leaps of faith when you feel like you're at the end of your rope, and hopefully it'll help other people feel inspired to be brave too in their lives.
That's wonderful. And when's it coming out? When can we get our hands
It'll
on it?
be end of March, early April, and it'll be on iTunes and Amazon and on sale at Aladdin.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So you can go to Aladdin.
Yes.
Hear you sing live and then get the CD.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, and break a leg on February 20th when
Thank
you take your first
you.
bow on Broadway as
Thanks.
Princess Jasmine.
I can't wait.
When we come back, we get a special sneak peek performance from Broadway's Escape to Margaritaville.
The New York Times raves it's brilliant. 4 stars. An absolute delight. Critics agree it's the surprise hit of the season. SpongeBob SquarePants, the Broadway musical.
Hello, I'm Candy Burris, and you are watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you with a look at a performance of A Pirate Looks at 40 from Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville.
See you next week.